Welcome back to Scotland Talks, where I talk about the mindset of powerful living. And that includes discussing your emotional and spiritual wellness. I'm Ann Scotland. Thank you for joining me here again today. So recently I did a poll on social media and asked you guys what you would like to talk about. And it was really surprising to me that one of the top topics was mental health. And within mental health, the top two were anxiety and depression, which makes sense because so many people are struggling with this right now. So today I'm just going to do a short Scotland Talks and discuss a couple of things you can do to support yourself around anxiety and things you probably don't usually hear of. So stay tuned for that. Also, please do like and subscribe. I really appreciate it if you would, and or share this link with someone else that you care about who might be experiencing some anxiety. I appreciate your subscriptions and I love staying in touch with all of you. So I just recently, as in right now, am recovering from COVID. Took me down for a couple weeks and was challenging, getting my head back in the game. And I realized that I was tempted to even get anxious, have some anxiety about getting back on my feet. And I thought, this is a really good topic. Let's talk about that briefly. So when you feel like you have to catch up, when you're getting anxiety around catching up on your work, your life, whatever it is that you're focused on, how do you do that? How do you reduce the anxiety around need to catch up? Or similarly, if you're feeling stuck or paralyzed in your life, in your work, and you need to create movement, but just thinking about the movement gives you anxiety, what are some things you can do? So I have 4 points to share with you today, and they're very simple. Number one, when you're ready to get out of anxiety and get back in the game, you need to get things done. Number one, write it down. Make a list of everything you can possibly think of that you need to do. Write it down. Number two, make a plan. So that includes taking that long list and reducing it down to 2 or 3 items, either for today or for this week. Just simplify 2 or 3 items. Make a plan of how you're going to carry that out. And 3, prioritize. Prioritize which of those 3 items are the most important to you. One of them might be catching up on your email, but what is the most important? Is it creating more profits quickly? Is it taking care of a relationship that needs some maintenance? Maybe it's not what you think. So write it down, make a plan, and then prioritize from the 3 things you've chosen what you want to do first and what is more important and why. I think a lot of times we think we know what's important, but we don't really ask ourselves, why is it important? And when you answer that question, why, you start to realize really what level of urgency this does or does not have. Number 4, once you write it down, make a plan, prioritize, schedule it. Get it scheduled. Take those 3 points, break them down. Maybe schedule 1 activity on each point per day. Keep it manageable, especially if you're recovering, like I'm recovering from COVID. You can't overdo it. You have to take care of yourself. This is a way you can get out of sort of that paralysis, the anxiety, the fear of starting a new project, of starting to write that book you've always wanted, as well as if you're in a space in your life where you feel like you need to catch up. The other thing I want to talk to you about today around anxiety is if you're facing a particular problem. If you're facing a particular problem right now, and that's what's kind of on your mind and really obsessing your thoughts, here's one quick trick that I have taught many people that has been very effective. And you're going to be surprised at how easy it is. And also you're going to be like, I'm not going to do that. So maybe listen, consider. So when you have this one problem, instead of just looping in your mind over and over, and believe me, in the past, I have spent so much time looping over I am an analytical person trying to problem solve something that is not easily solved or even can ever be solved. Say that's a relationship problem or a broken relationship with family or friends or a significant other, or, beating yourself up about something that you did that wasn't ideal. If you're cycling on that problem over and over, a lot of people will say, write it down, journal it out. If that works for you, absolutely do it. Some of you are writers and you know that just the physical act of writing it down can really create some clarity and kind of ease your mind. If you're not the kind of person who likes to write and journal, you can also do this much more quickly and simply, but it takes some guts. And that is simply get out your phone, turn on your video, switch it to yourself, and talk to yourself for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes if you really want to. Just talk. You don't have to watch it back, but if you can, it's really valuable. You'll be shocked to see when you actually verbalize the challenge and the problem you're having, it looks 90% different from the way it looked or sounded in your head. It's almost like you're coaching yourself. You see it when you articulate the problem just to yourself, it becomes very clear. And why is that? Well, one of the reasons is when we tell friends and family about a problem that we're obsessing over, it really turns into a story. Now, you should get the support of your friends and family, but we get, still have that tickle in my throat. We get obsessed with our story. We embellish the story. It gets more embellished every time we tell it. When you're just talking to yourself on camera, it's pointless to embellish the story that you already know. And when you exaggerate, it's a lot more obvious. So if you record yourself, you don't have to watch it. Just the act of recording the picture of you and your voice is very useful, and it does something, changes something, switches a switch in your mind. Now, if you have the guts to also watch it back, you will find the most incredible breakthroughs often just by watching it back. Or I was so surprised when I started doing this years ago. While you're watching it back, either while you're speaking it and recording it in the first place, or while you're watching it back, you will actually find solutions instantly. Not every time, but you'll be really surprised. Getting out of the story in your head, and either, if you like to write, put it on paper, or video yourself and articulate the problem visually and verbally. This is one of the greatest tools I teach my clients all the time. So try it out. I would love for you to let me know how it goes, good, bad, indifferent, however. I would just love to hear your feedback on this. Again, it's one of my favorite things to do and such a powerful tool. So thank you so much for joining me here again today on Scotland Talks with this short, sweet talk and talking about anxiety and some simple steps for you, whether you're paralyzed with anxiety about getting started on something or catching up on something, or whether you have anxiety around a particular problem. I've given you several steps today to help you navigate that and come out the other side feeling better and more confident, having that more powerful mindset. Thank you so much. I am so delighted every time I hear from each of you. Please do like and subscribe to my channel and to this podcast. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Cheers.